ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark, and pretty obviously doing so.
What if the WNBA, a league striving for mainstream recognition, was secretly sabotaging its own success? What if the dazzling rise of a star player was overshadowed by a culture of aggression, entitlement, and questionable officiating? This isn't just about basketball. It's about a league teetering on the brink, caught in a web of its own making. The arrival of Caitlin Clark should have been a triumphant moment, a new golden age for women's basketball. But instead, it's become a cautionary tale of missed opportunities and self-inflicted wounds. The question isn't just about whether the WNBA is failing, but whether it's actively choosing to fail.
By sports reporters, well, it seems that the WNBA is, well, we know it's not a serious league, but it seems like maybe they are trying to hide something. They certainly do not want anybody with an opposing viewpoint covering their league. Now, mind you, this is a league that's never turned a profit. This is a league that, even with Caitlin Clark having joined this league last year, lost $40 million. Now, they got a new media rights deal coming, and that's going to bump up to about $220 million a year. But even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear.
The arrival of Brittney Griner and Aja Wilson in the WNBA wasn't just a signing. It felt like a power play, a declaration of dominance. The whispers quickly escalated into accusations of entitlement, a sense that these players operated under a different set of rules, above the fray. This wasn't merely about skill. It was about a perceived culture of impunity, where veteran players seemingly felt immune to consequences, fostering an environment of intimidation and resentment amongst newer players. The league's response, or rather lack thereof, only fueled the flames of controversy, transforming what should have been a celebration of athletic prowess into a simmering cauldron of discontent. The fans, once enthusiastic supporters, were rapidly turning into wary observers, questioning the very foundation of the league's integrity. The air of entitlement wasn't just a perception. It was a palpable force shaping the very dynamics of the league. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It had become a high-stakes drama, playing out on the court and across social media.
In a viral clip, after she made a foul play, Griner appears to mouth something rather controversial. It might be, though we don't know, trash and possibly white girl. Others have suggested it might be trash and whack call. We don't know what she's mouthing, but she seems to, have a mouth on her and not exactly be in the gratitude space. Griner herself hasn't commented. Now, why is that?
And now, the once thriving atmosphere of the WNBA was rapidly deteriorating into a soap opera of epic proportions, complete with escalating drama, dwindling viewership, and a growing chorus of outraged fans. The lack of accountability for questionable behavior, coupled with the seemingly unchecked egos of certain players, created a toxic mix that threatened to unravel the league from within. The sounds of whistles and boos were now frequently drowned out by the roar of online outrage, as fans questioned the fairness of the game and the league's handling of its star players. The shift from a sport to a reality TV spectacle was complete. The stars believed themselves untouchable, but the audience, increasingly disillusioned, was simply tuning out. The decline wasn't gradual. It was a rapid descent into chaos, fueled by a disregard for the very principles that should uphold the integrity of professional sports. The situation had become untenable.
I don't know for sure what was going on with what cameras caught Brittney Griner saying on the bench after she had fouled out against Caitlin Clark's Fever in Atlanta. I waited to comment on this until the WNBA was able to investigate it. I wanted them to issue a statement about it, but we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing. And Brittney Griner has not commented, which...
Brittney Griner's presence in the WNBA had become synonymous with chaos theory. Her towering presence, coupled with her controversial past, including her detainment in Russia and subsequent return, cast a long shadow over the league. Her on-court aggression, often bordering on violent, generated a constant sense of unease among her fellow players and a growing wave of disapproval among fans. The narrative surrounding her wasn't simply about athletic skill. It was about a player who seemed to operate outside the norms of sportsmanship and fair play. Her reputation, shaped by both on-court conduct and off-court controversies, had transformed her into a polarizing figure, sparking debates about accountability, fair play, and the very essence of the WNBA's identity. The question wasn't just about her skills. It was about the image she projected and the impact it had on the league as a whole. The atmosphere surrounding Brittney Griner's games had become one of palpable tension. Fans weren't simply watching a basketball game, they were bracing for impact. Every play felt like a high-stakes gamble, where a single wrong move could lead to injury or an eruption of controversy. The strategic elements of the game were often overshadowed by the fear of what might happen next. It wasn't about skill or finesse, it was about survival. The aggressive style of play wasn't just about winning. It was about intimidation, about dominating opponents through sheer force. The focus shifted from the game itself to the potential for conflict and chaos, transforming the court into a battleground rather than a playing field. The casual viewer was replaced by a tense and anxious audience, holding their breath every time Griner stepped onto the court. The game itself became secondary to the anticipation of potential mayhem. The backlash against Brittney Griner's behavior wasn't just a murmur. It was a full-blown digital tsunami. Fans weren't simply expressing their discontent. They were organizing boycotts, demanding accountability, and transforming into self-appointed watchdogs of the WNBA. This wasn't casual fandom. This was a passionate outcry from a fan base that felt betrayed and ignored. The outrage wasn't limited to online platforms. It spilled over into real-world actions, affecting ticket sales, merchandise purchases, and the overall perception of the league. The fans' actions represented a powerful rejection of the culture of impunity that had seemingly taken root within the WNBA, highlighting the profound disconnect between the league's leadership and its core fan base. This wasn't just about one player. It was a referendum on the league itself.
I wanted to talk about this man, because she is a man. He is a man. Okay, so Kim, you put this in the chat to talk about. Do you know the context for this Brittney Griner video here?
Oh, other than her just being a ridiculous bitch. I mean,
What the hell is her problem? Like, she has been handed
you know
the
what
world.
Happened? She was handed the most privilege that she.
Oh, baby cough.
She was handed the most privileged situation in the entire world. We literally traded a war criminal for her worthless ass.
The fans' response wasn't passive. It was proactive and deeply engaged. They weren't simply spectators. They had become investigators, analysts, and advocates for a fairer and more accountable league. The level of scrutiny and the demand for justice went far beyond simple criticism. It was a full-scale mobilization of fans demanding change. This wasn't just about basketball. It was about a struggle for the soul of the WNBA, a battle for integrity and fair play. The fans' dedication and tireless efforts to hold the league accountable showcased the power of passionate engagement and the importance of fan participation in shaping the future of professional sports. The situation had escalated beyond a simple dispute. It was a full-blown crisis of credibility for the WNBA. Let's be frank. Brittney Griner's off-court reputation is far from exemplary. Her detainment in Russia, stemming from possession of a vape pen containing hash oil, wasn't just a personal misstep. It was a geopolitical incident that played out on the world stage. Her subsequent return, while celebrated by some, was met with skepticism by others, who questioned the narrative surrounding her ordeal. This wasn't just an isolated incident. It was a significant event that raised questions about her judgment and her suitability as a role model. The incident underscored the complexities of her image, highlighting the dissonance between her athletic achievements and her off-court controversies. The narrative surrounding her return wasn't a triumphant comeback. It was a complex and controversial chapter in her life and the history of the WNBA.
theatrical production. She throws herself on the ground.
And they gave her like
Oh my god,
one
like
of
the
the
white
biggest
supremacy
foul
just
calls.
emanated off of her and made me fall onto the floor.
Wow.
I fell
Maybe
under the
she
weight
had
of my Great Depression.
maybe fingertips, but that's it.
That's
This
why
is
Caitlin
some
Clark freaked
shit
out. She's
LeBron
like, are
would
you
do.
kidding me? I didn't touch her.
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't even touch her. And they keep doing this to her. There was like a big fiasco going on with her and Angel Reese again. And like Angel Reese threw herself on the floor last week. And everyone was saying that Caitlin Clark threw her on the floor and she didn't even barely even touched her. But then they can literally shove Caitlin Clark to the ground. And
The media's portrayal of Brittney Griner's return from Russia as a triumphant comeback was a gross oversimplification of a far more nuanced situation. While her release was undoubtedly a positive development, it didn't erase the underlying issues surrounding her actions and their consequences. Many fans felt that celebrating her return without addressing the seriousness of her actions in Russia sent a deeply troubling message. This wasn't simply a matter of freedom. It was a question of accountability and responsibility. The media's focus on the narrative of a triumphant return overshadowed the more complex questions surrounding her behavior and the implications for the WNBA's image. The celebration felt premature, overshadowing the need for a thorough examination of the circumstances that led to her detainment. The average WNBA fan's perception of Brittney Griner is far from positive. Her time in Russian prison, coupled with her aggressive on-court style, has created a deeply negative perception. Her physicality, while undeniably impressive, is often perceived as excessive and overly aggressive, bordering on dangerous. She isn't just a player, she's a controversial figure whose presence casts a shadow over the league. The concerns extend beyond her prison sentence. They encompass her overall demeanor and approach to the game, which many view as needlessly confrontational and disrespectful. It's a complex situation, with her on-court actions and off-court controversies creating a toxic mix that has deeply divided WNBA fans. The issue isn't just her skill, it's the overall image she projects and its impact on the league's reputation.
Flag you. Brittney, let me see something real quick. Brick! Thank you! Get the hell out of here, yo! Jab stepping, it's a brick. Swing and a miss! Oh! Yo, I ain't gonna fake it right now.
Watching Brittney Griner play basketball has become akin to watching a tense episode of a crime procedural. Every move is fraught with the potential for conflict. Every collision a potential flashpoint. The game itself is secondary to the anticipation of what might happen next, transforming the court into a high-stakes arena where the players aren't just competing. They're navigating a minefield of potential controversies. The focus isn't on the beauty of the game, but on the potential for violence and the constant fear of unchecked aggression. This isn't about skill, it's about survival, and the audience is left feeling uneasy and unsettled. The experience is less about enjoying the sport and more about enduring a spectacle of potential physical confrontation. The controversies surrounding Brittney Griner have raised fundamental questions about the fairness and integrity of the WNBA. Fans are openly questioning the legitimacy of her presence in the league, the fairness of the officiating, and the league's willingness to address the issues surrounding her behavior. These aren't minor concerns. They are profound challenges to the very foundation of the league's credibility. The questions extend beyond individual players. They address the league's broader culture, its commitment to fair play, and its responsibility to protect its players from excessive physicality. It's no longer a simple matter of sports. It's a question of ethical conduct and the league's commitment to its core values. The situation is not just about basketball. It is a crisis of confidence in the WNBA.
And it's just a big commotion. So I was just letting the fans just kind of relax. Like we're not here to hurt anyone. It's a basketball play, and that's what it's going to do. We're going to continue to make basketball plays, and it's going to be physical, is what we're trained to do. But that was my biggest thing, was just kind of be a fan. Yes, cheer for your team. That's okay. But at the same time, this is our job. I'm not going to hurt E-Dub, and she knows that. I'm actually checking to make sure she's okay. So I don't like the instigating. It doesn't help our game. It doesn't grow our game. So that's what I was telling people, just to kind of relax. Like, it's okay.
The concerns surrounding Brittney Griner's physicality extend beyond mere speculation. They are grounded in the observations of fans who have witnessed her aggressive style of play firsthand. The comparisons to NFL defensive linemen aren't hyperbolic. They reflect a genuine concern about the level of physicality she employs and the potential for injury. The disparity between her style and the typical WNBA player further highlights the problem. This isn't simply about competitiveness, it's about a style of play that many view as excessive, dangerous, and potentially harmful. The issue isn't simply about winning, it's about the overall integrity and safety of the game. The concerns extend beyond the player herself. They encompass the league's failure to address the problem and its potential impact on the future of women's basketball. Adding another layer to the ongoing controversy surrounding Brittney Griner are reports of racially charged remarks made toward other players. These allegations, if true, represent a serious breach of sportsmanship and further underscore the problematic nature of her behavior. The combination of physical aggression and alleged racial undertones paints a troubling picture of a player who operates outside the bounds of acceptable conduct. This isn't just about basketball. It's about creating a hostile and discriminatory environment. The implications extend far beyond the individual incidents. They represent a systemic problem within the league that needs to be addressed urgently. The allegations, if substantiated, would represent a profound betrayal of the principles of fairness, respect, and inclusion that should underpin the WNBA. The allegations of bullying against rookie players, particularly Caitlin Clark, have further fueled the controversy surrounding Brittney Griner. These reports, combined with the lack of disciplinary action from the WNBA, have created a climate of fear and resentment. The behavior described isn't just unprofessional, it's abusive, and the league's inaction has only exacerbated the situation. This isn't simply about competition. It's about creating a toxic environment where young players are subjected to harassment and intimidation. The lack of consequences for such behavior sends a dangerous message, undermining the league's credibility and eroding the trust of its fans. The incident highlights a deep-seated problem within the WNBA, one that requires immediate and decisive action to rectify.
This league, but it seems like maybe they are trying to hide something. They certainly do not want anybody with an opposing viewpoint covering their league. Now, mind you, this is a league that's never turned a profit. This is a league that, even with Caitlin Clark having joined this league last year, lost $40 million. Now, they got a new media rights deal coming, and that's going to bump up to about $220 million a year. But even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear.
The fans' frustration with Brittney Griner's conduct has reached a boiling point. Their response isn't just booing. It's a mass exodus from the stands and a concerted effort to hold the league accountable. The cancellation of season tickets and the explosion of social media outrage represent a powerful rejection of the league's failure to address the problems, highlighting the deep disconnect between the WNBA's leadership and its fan base. This isn't just about one player. It's about the league's failure to protect its players and uphold the principles of fair play and sportsmanship. The fans' actions represent a desperate attempt to save the WNBA from itself, to reclaim the integrity of the game that they love. The situation is a crisis, and the league's failure to act decisively will have lasting consequences. Brittney Griner's behavior isn't an isolated incident. It's a symptom of deeper cultural issues within the WNBA. The league's failure to address these problems is jeopardizing its future, tarnishing its image, and alienating its fan base. The rise of stars like Caitlin Clark should have been a moment of celebration, a new era of growth and excitement, but instead, it's being overshadowed by a culture of aggression, entitlement, and a persistent lack of accountability. The league's current trajectory is unsustainable. Unless it makes significant changes, it risks losing its audience, its credibility, and its future. The challenge isn't just about managing individual players. It's about reforming a culture that has become toxic and self-destructive. A'Isha Wilson's actions, or rather, inaction, have only exacerbated the problems within the WNBA. Her alignment with the culture of entitlement and her failure to challenge the status quo have contributed to the league's decline. Her presence alongside Griner reinforces the perception of a clique of veteran players who feel above reproach, further alienating fans and creating a hostile environment for newer players. Her silence in the face of such blatant misconduct is deafening and speaks volumes about the league's deeper cultural problems. Her actions, or lack thereof, serve as a stark reminder of the need for leadership and accountability within the WNBA. The situation isn't just about individual players. It's about a systemic failure of leadership and a culture of silence.
Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing white trash white girl because after she fouled out, she decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and was jailed. And then Joe Biden made a trade for the merchant of death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he got arrested. He sold $10 million of arms to the Houthis. You think that
Brittney Griner's on-court persona is a peculiar mix of athletic dominance and WWE-style villainy. She's a force of nature, capable of breathtaking athletic feats, but also prone to excessive physicality and confrontational behavior. This creates a fascinating, albeit unsettling, spectacle for viewers. While her aggressive style of play makes for highlight reel moments, it also sends a troubling message that intimidation and aggression are more valuable than skill and sportsmanship. The league's apparent acceptance of this approach further fuels the controversy, creating a climate of fear and resentment amongst other players and fans alike. The question isn't just about her talent, it's about the values she represents and the message she sends to the next generation of WNBA players. The fans' demands for fairness, accountability, and a return to sportsmanship are not merely wishful thinking. They are essential for the survival of the WNBA. The league's current approach, tolerating excessive physicality and unchecked aggression, is unsustainable. Fans are tired of witnessing players getting steamrolled without consequence, of seeing the game overshadowed by controversy and intimidation. They want a league that champions respect, skill, and integrity. A league where the focus is on the beauty of the game, not the potential for violence. The demands are not about stifling competition. They are about ensuring a fair and safe playing environment for all players and a positive experience for fans. The future of the WNBA hinges on its ability to address these concerns effectively and decisively. The frustration with the treatment of Caitlin Clark goes beyond simple dissatisfaction. It's a deep-seated concern for the future of the WNBA. Fans are witnessing a rising star being unfairly targeted, her talent overshadowed by a culture of aggression and poor officiating. This isn't just about one player. It's about the league's failure to protect its most promising talent and foster a positive environment for growth. The perception of favoritism towards veteran players, coupled with the inconsistent officiating, creates a sense of injustice that undermines the league's credibility. The situation isn't just about fairness. It's about the league's ability to cultivate and nurture its rising stars, ensuring a sustainable future for women's basketball.
This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along, and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year, outstanding. She's like Steph Curry. She can pull up from anywhere. You understand? She has that kind of capability. Then won a national championship. Lost to LSU one year. Lost to South Carolina another year. But she's outstanding and clearly worthy of being the #1 overall pick. And what I was saying to everybody is ride the wave. Rising tide lifts all boats. She's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player who...
The WNBA's newfound excitement isn't about social justice slogans. It's about Caitlin Clark's undeniable talent and electrifying style of play. She's a refreshing contrast to the league's often contrived narratives and manufactured drama, offering viewers a pure, unfiltered display of athleticism and skill. Her presence has revitalized the league, proving that women's basketball can be both thrilling and highly competitive. She doesn't need external narratives. Her talent speaks for itself, captivating audiences and generating genuine excitement. This authentic appeal is what the WNBA should be focusing on, instead of diluting its message with forced political messaging.
Basketball talk, but you've got to go back to Caitlin Clark just for a second. So she breaks the record, or I guess tied, technically, for most 20-point games and 10 assist games. And she's played one season.
Yeah.
One season. Against Taurasi and another player who played how many seasons?
15.
Right. And you're not telling me that this is not the best player in the
The WNBA seems to have embraced a misguided philosophy, prioritizing physicality over skill. This approach, emphasizing aggressive play and often overlooking blatant fouls, has created a chaotic and unpredictable game that prioritizes brute force over finesse. The focus has shifted from strategic play and skillful execution to a style that is often bordering on reckless and dangerous. This approach, while perhaps generating some short-term excitement, ultimately undermines the integrity of the game and risks alienating viewers who value skill and sportsmanship. The league needs to reevaluate its approach, prioritizing the fundamental principles of the sport over manufactured drama and excessive physicality. The WNBA games have become less about basketball and more about a sanctioned form of physical contact. Caitlin Clark, a highly skilled player, is constantly being subjected to rough play, often without the benefit of a whistle. The inconsistency in officiating further exacerbates the problem, creating a sense of unfairness and undermining the integrity of the game. The league's apparent tolerance for excessive physicality creates a dangerous environment for its players, and the resulting chaotic nature of the games detracts from the overall viewing experience. The league needs to address this issue urgently, enforcing the rules consistently and ensuring a safe and fair playing environment for all its players.
Can you be clear about this? If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She is the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. She'd be drawing flies if she were playing not against Caitlin Clark on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird, essentially.
The WNBA's obsession with physicality over skill is turning the game into a chaotic and unpredictable spectacle, undermining the very essence of basketball. The emphasis on aggressive play, coupled with inconsistent officiating, creates a game that is less about strategy and skill and more about brute force and chance. The focus has shifted from the beauty of the game to the potential for violence, alienating fans who value skill, sportsmanship, and a fair playing field. The league needs to reevaluate its priorities, ensuring that the game remains true to its core principles and that the focus is on the skill and athleticism of its players, not on manufactured drama and excessive physicality. Fans are not tuning in to the WNBA to be lectured or emotionally manipulated. They're watching Caitlin Clark play basketball. Her talent is undeniable, and her performances are electrifying, providing a level of excitement that the league has been sorely lacking. She doesn't need to make grand statements or engage in political debates. Her actions speak for themselves. Her success is a testament to the power of pure talent and unwavering dedication, a stark contrast to the contrived narratives and forced storylines that have plagued the WNBA. The league needs to recognize this and focus on celebrating her talent, not trying to control her narrative or use her as a platform for its own agendas. The evidence of Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA is undeniable. Her talent,